I want to start this conversation with you in a welcoming way, bringing the idea that sexual desire is a natural part of life at any age. Maybe you've felt that things have changed over time, that initial enthusiasm has waned or even turned into something different. Sometimes the body asks for new care, new looks, and this does not mean that everything is over or that you cannot resume the pleasure of living fully. On the contrary, it can be the perfect time to discover healthier paths, free of taboos and prejudices. Many people believe that, in old age, sexuality loses its meaning or importance. This is not true. What happens is that the body goes through natural changes. Hormones can fluctuate, and issues such as pressure, tiredness, routine, or even continuous medication can interfere with desire levels. However, none of this prevents the sexual experience from being enriching and full of meaning, as long as the appropriate information and solutions are sought. That's why today I want to talk about how to increase sexual desire without having to resort to strong drugs or miracle formulas that we see out there. The focus here is on the health of the body and mind, and one of the great secrets that we often underestimate is in nutrition. Have you ever heard of the power of pumpkin seeds? Well, these small grains can have a profound impact on hormonal balance and general well-being, including the sexual part. It is not empty talk or unfounded belief. There are studies indicating that nutrients such as zinc, magnesium, omega-3, and tryptophan, present in pumpkin seeds, can positively influence the production and regulation of sex hormones, in addition to reducing stress and improving mood. But before we talk specifically about pumpkin seeds, I want to point out that there is no magic solution if there is no general understanding of our body. In old age, the challenge is not limited to the level of hormones. It's also about how we see our own body, how we deal with physical changes, how much we respect the rhythm and the limitations that may arise over the years. When we understand that sexual desire is part of our integral well-being, we begin to look not just for a food or supplement, but for a lifestyle change that respects our individuality. So, let's start with the basics: balanced diet. Many people forget that what we eat daily directly impacts our circulation, our mood, and even our ability to relax and feel pleasure. A well-nourished body tends to perform better in all aspects, including sexual, and that's where pumpkin seeds can shine. A simple thing, easy to find and low cost, but which carries an interesting combination of minerals and essential fatty acids. Who doesn't like to eat something practical on a daily basis? Pumpkin seeds can be eaten in a variety of ways: raw, roasted, crushed into salads, included in smoothies, or even sprinkled on soups. The most common suggestion is to eat 2 tablespoons a day without overdoing it. This regular consumption can help maintain good levels of zinc, which is essential for the production of testosterone, which is a hormone linked to sexual desire in both men and women. In addition, magnesium helps relax the muscles and mind, reducing anxiety that can often block the urge to engage in intimate moments. Speaking of anxiety, it is important to remember that sexual desire is not only a physical issue, but also a psychological one. In old age, there may be insecurities about performance, fear of not meeting the expectations of the partner, or even embarrassment to talk about this subject that, for decades, has been treated as taboo. All of this directly influences libido. If you feel uncomfortable talking openly about what you feel, seek help from a professional or even a support group where other people live in similar situations. Sharing experiences can ease tensions and normalize dialogue about sexuality. Another important point is the hormonal changes that happen after menopause or andropause. It is not the end of sexual life, just a new phase that requires self-knowledge and, often, adjustments in diet and lifestyle. It is at this stage that many people resort to medications, which can help in certain cases but are not always the only way. If there are natural ways to improve desire, why not try it first? Of course, each case is unique. There are those who need more specific medical support, and this is no problem at all. But the message here is one of hope. It is indeed possible to rediscover or enhance sexual pleasure without necessarily depending on pills. Often, a simple change in diet, regular practice of light physical exercise, and a loving look at one's own body already make a huge difference. And speaking of exercise, don't forget to include walking, stretching, or even yoga in your routine. These habits help with blood circulation, flexibility, and general disposition. It is normal for us to think that exercise is only for young people or athletes, but it is not true. Within the limitations of each person, moving the body contributes to maintaining healthy joints, reducing muscle pain, and improving breathing. All of this reflects on sexual desire because when we are physically well, we tend to feel more confident and open to pleasure. Another suggestion worth considering is sex therapy or couples therapy. Often, the couple finds it difficult to communicate. The routine of years of living together can generate certain blockages or lack of dialogue about what each one feels or wants. At these times, a specialized professional can help clarify important points. Does the partner know what you really like? Have you ever expressed your fears or insecurities about intimacy? These professionals facilitate communication and propose exercises that awaken creativity and desire. Now, returning to the question of pumpkin seeds, why do they gain so much prominence? In addition to zinc and magnesium, they contain omega-3, which helps with cardiovascular health and, consequently, improves circulation, which is essential for the sexual response of men and women. Good circulation favors male erection and female lubrication, making the act more comfortable and pleasurable. We also find tryptophan, which is a precursor of serotonin, the hormone that regulates mood and the feeling of well-being. With more serotonin, we tend to be less stressed and more likely to have interest and satisfaction in sex life. Many reports from people in old age show that, by gradually inserting pumpkin seeds and other healthy habits in their daily lives, they noticed an improvement in mood and libido. It is worth remembering that the body needs time to adapt. There is no point in consuming pumpkin seeds for 2 or 3 days and expecting a magical result. It is necessary to continue, turning this into part of a routine that includes good hydration, quality sleep, and, if possible, nutritional monitoring to see if other nutrients are lacking in the body. Meanwhile, it is equally essential to take care of the emotional side. Sex is not just about hormones. There is affection, connection, trust. Many people feel ashamed to take off their clothes or to be touched when they are older. Concerns arise about wrinkles, sagging, scars. But intimacy can be much deeper and more beautiful at this stage, as it comes loaded with life stories, experiences, complicity. By allowing this climate of openness and trust to grow, you can rediscover a much more intense pleasure than you may have known in your youth. Another relevant aspect is to understand that sexuality is not tied to a single standard. Don't limit yourself to what society says is right or wrong. Often, the biggest challenge is getting rid of old beliefs that place the sexuality of the elderly as something non-existent or inappropriate. If you feel like you still have desire, why not explore it lovingly and responsibly? Quality of life includes sexual health, and this should be discussed naturally, whether in the family, with friends, or in your doctor's office. It is always worth reinforcing the importance of seeking information from reliable sources. Doctors, nutritionists, psychologists, or sex therapists can guide you with concrete data and personalized strategies. Avoid falling into traps of fancy products that promise to solve everything in moments. The path to a fuller sexuality in old age involves self-knowledge, dialogue, and, yes, special attention to what we eat. Pumpkin seed is a simple and powerful example, but there are other functional foods that can complement your diet, such as nuts, omega-3 rich fish, olive oil, antioxidant-rich fruits, and so on. If the topic arouses curiosity or doubts, it is essential to talk about it. Sometimes a simple chat with friends can open doors to exchange experiences, share tips, and realize that you are not alone. It can be inspiring to hear stories of people who have overcome insecurities and today live a moment full of discovery, even after the age of 60, 70, or 80. Longevity has brought the possibility of enjoying more time here on Earth. But for that, we need to take care not only of the body but also of our mind and our self-esteem. Above all, it is good to remember that sex life goes far beyond the act itself. It involves the whole context of affection, foreplay, quality time together with those you love, or even with yourself if you are single. It's okay to explore your own sexuality on your own, to understand what gives you pleasure, what sensations are pleasurable, and how your body responds to stimuli. This self-knowledge can be taken to a relationship for two, making everything easier to talk about and put into practice. When we talk about old age, many people go through very big emotional changes, such as retirement, leaving home with their children, feeling of not having so much purpose in life. These transformations can affect libido as overall motivation decreases. It is important to look for activities that bring joy and stimulate the brain. Reading, learning a new hobby, doing crafts, participating in groups, and maintaining social bonds helps to balance mood and mind, reflecting positively on all aspects, including the sexual. If at any point you feel that the difficulties in arousing desire are too strong, or that the lack of desire is accompanied by sadness and hopelessness, do not hesitate to seek a mental health professional. Depression and anxiety are conditions that can severely disrupt sex life, but there is treatment and the possibility of improvement. The sooner you seek help, the faster the recovery process and return to the desire to live intimate moments with pleasure. Coming towards the end of our time of conversation, I want to reinforce the idea that sexuality has no expiration date. It has always accompanied human beings, but it manifests itself in different ways at each stage of life. In youth, there is a greater impetus, hormones on the surface, but often lack experience or emotional maturity. In old age, there can be an interesting balance between experience, knowledge of one's own body, and the serenity to enjoy every moment without haste. Use this to your advantage. So remember, pumpkin seeds are a simple and affordable ally to improve sexual desire in a natural way. You can include them in salad, soup, snacks, combining them with a balanced and varied diet. If possible, add more fruits, vegetables, and fiber-rich foods. Drink plenty of water. Get routine checkups to keep track of your vitamin and mineral levels, as any deficiency can impact your energy and willingness to enjoy life. Don't neglect the importance of maintaining good communication with your partner. Talk about what you feel, what you want, and look for solutions together. If necessary, count on the help of professionals. The journey of sexuality is unique to each person, but information and dialogue are powerful tools that can facilitate this path. I leave here then my invitation for you to look at yourself, see what you can improve in your routine, and try, without prejudice, to give a chance to these small seeds full of benefits. Then, notice how your body responds, how your mood changes, how your vitality can rekindle, and above all, how sexual desire can become more present, without depending on drugs or complicated solutions. In many cases, the commitment to take care of oneself and the affection to look at one's own body with respect and appreciation are enough. Finally, it is essential to remember that the search for sexual satisfaction in old age is everyone's right, not a luxury or something superfluous. It is part of your health and quality of life. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share your thoughts with anyone who might benefit. Look for reliable information channels. Stay curious and open to learning. Life is made up of phases, and each one can be special in its own way. Take care of yourself, respect your limits, and discover new paths to pleasure, as there is always an opportunity to rediscover happiness in intimacy, even, and perhaps especially, when we reach a more mature phase of our existence.